So what I'm saying is America, the United States is expensive. It's expensive to live out here, right? So um when if a man's going to be a sole provider, it's very unlikely that he doesn't have like two jobs or he's always at work, right?
Right.
So I think that it's fair that if he pays all the bills, then you're at home, cooking, cleaning, child rearing, because those are the gender roles. But that's the life you're going to get, and more than likely you're going to feel like a married single mother because he's going to be at work trying to provide for the family, and some women prefer that. Some women say, I'm good, like I just want you to bring home the dough and I will take care of everything else. I don't want to work, and I'm happy with you bringing home a paycheck. And that works for them. But there are some women that they want both. They don't want him to just bring home a paycheck. They want him to bring home a paycheck, and then they want him to come home and they want him to help with the kids and they want him to cook sometimes and they want him to do the dishes and all that kind of stuff. And you can't really have it both ways because a lot of times these men are working 16-hour work days and 80-hour work weeks to be able to be a sole provider. So you, like I said, you can't have it both ways. But I don't have those struggles. I personally do not mind like helping out with the bills because I want my husband to be present. So that is my trade-off. I go to work. So in order for my husband to be able to um, be present in the home, help cook, help clean, help with the kids, I also go to work. To me, I make enough money to where me helping with the bills is no sweat off my back. I'm not saying that, ladies, if a man wants to pay all the bills, you argue with him and tell him, no, don't pay all the bills. I'm going to help. But it works out for my dynamic because my love language is quality time, and I want to spend time with my husband, and I don't want a husband that works 16-hour work days, comes home, goes to sleep, wakes up at the crack of dawn to go back to work, stressing himself out so that he can pay all the bills in this country that is so expensive. So that is my trade-off. So what I'm saying is, ladies, either you're going to have a man who's a sole provider that's bringing home a check, but he's not going to help out with everything else because he's worried, he's working on bringing home a check, or you're going to go to work, help pay the bills so you can have a man that's more present in the home. Like, which one do you want?
So the woman can't have their cake and eat it too?
Highly unlikely that that's going to happen. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm just
Really?
saying that usually a man who is making that type of money to where um, he's able to be present in the home is, yeah, it's very rare. Usually men that are making over six figures, um, they are out working. They're going on business trips. They're doing like they're at work. So that's the trade-off, ladies. You in the United States of America. Like if you want to be with your husband where you don't have to make a lot of money and he still can come home and still pay all the bills, the United States of America is not the place to be. You might want to go somewhere else to where, like these passport bros is doing. Like they taking their 50,000 and they going to where their money can go longer. So that might be your option if you want the kind of husband that can do that.
Do you okay, I agree with you. Do you think that do you think a lot of do you think a lot of black do you think family planning is something that's actually really even prevalent in the black community? And even amongst like married folks, do you think when a child is like, in the when a child is in the process of being brought into this world, do you think parenting styles and just how you ideally want things to be, do you think there needs to be like a serious discussion had before like you even think about having a child with that person?
Absolutely not, because We are having children way too young, and that's the reason why we're not having family. We're not having family planning. You would be surprised how many people don't even know that there are family planning clinics in your local towns that will help you with your finances, that will just help you get things together so that you are ready for when the baby comes. I actually did that with my son. And I did that with my son because I was older when I had him. I think I was like 30 or 31 when I had my son. I had a career. My husband and I saved money. We made sure we were financially stable, and then we planned the pregnancy. Like literally we had like a fertility tracker. We went to a clinic. We did family planning clinic. I went to the classes. Even though I had already been a mother, I still went to a lactations course, so for breastfeeding. And I actually did it, and you would be surprised how many times I've went to these classes. And one, they were older women, and two, a lot of them were not women of color.
Hmm.
So that's something that we do not utilize in our communities. And I think that it, technically a lot. You're seeing, if you look at the trends, you're seeing a lot more women are actually having babies in their 30s now than they are in their 20s, which is good. It's going a trend up. But but technically we have not been utilizing family planning because a lot of us are having children when we are young, we're in our 20s. That's not something that we're thinking about. I know when I had my first child at 23, I wasn't thinking about family planning. I was just like, okay, I'm pregnant, I guess we got to figure
Right.
something out.
Right. No. No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with anything. I don't disagree with anything that you said, but like when I was talking to these sisters tonight, told them that I want black women to be happy. I want them to have peace. So if they really feel that they are in relationships with men that are not helping them out with their kids, what's the whole point of them being like, living, being, not only being in a relationship with that man, living with that man? Like just go be a single mother then. If that's ultimately what's going to make you happy and bring you peace, because you already feel like you're doing everything by yourself, why not just go full throttle and just break up your home, break up your family, and go do it all by yourself then?
Unfortunately that is happening. That is why the divorce rates are so high. I think the problem is, and I'm a culprit in this, and that's why I tell people, like, even though it worked out for me, I would not suggest that women do this. I had a baby out of wedlock. Now, I ended up marrying the man that I had a baby with, but it doesn't always work out that way. We need to have these discussions with men before we decide to have a family with them. Like, do they want to have a family? One, do they want to eventually get married one day? That's a very important question to ask, because if a lot of men say that there is no benefit to marriage, so you might be in a relationship with this man who never wants to marry you. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't want to be with you in a committed relationship with you, but he never wants to like legally put a ring on your finger. So you need to have these conversations, because what will happen is one day you'll be with a man, you'll notice that you already have two kids with him, maybe three. It's been 10 years down the line, and he still don't want to marry you. And now you're like, I want to be married. And and now you're stuck between keeping the family together and never being a wife, or leaving and being a single mother, so you can hopefully find a man that'll marry you. So ladies, I always recommend never to give a man a baby unless he's willing to marry you, unless you want to be in just a spiritual marriage and you don't mind just being a forever girlfriend. You can do that too, whatever you want to do, but make sure you have that conversation with these men before you decide to have a whole family with him, and you don't really or you guys are not on the same track when it comes to relationships, and you guys don't have the same values when it comes to marriage.
Why do you think a lot of men are saying they don't see any benefit in getting married?
I believe that they don't see a benefit in getting married because they want a traditional family with gender roles where they don't care about your career, your education, what you bring financially. So they expect a woman to bring nothing to the marriage, right? And then with the marriage, with the divorce rates being so high, they expect to pay everything in that marriage financially. And then when a divorce comes, they expect her to take everything that he has worked for financially. So that's why I ask men, especially men who make less than six figures, because the average man makes $50,000. Why on earth would you want to be with a woman where you don't care about what she can bring to the relationship financially? I tell people, and people want to get upset with me when I talk about this, about how my husband benefits from marriage. I have a really good job. I have a 401k, I have retirement, I have life insurance, I have all these things that he can get in IUL, um in the case that something may happen to me. Like I might live to 103, he may never get it, or I might tragically pass away tomorrow. Who knows, right? But whether he cares or not about my career, my education, my money, it would be foolish of him not to take the $200,000 life insurance policy that I have been putting money away towards for him in case something tragic happens, and be like, I don't care about that. I'm not going to take it because I'm a man. Like, no, that's his benefit. He is entitled to that because he is my husband, right? That the first person that they're going to ask about what they want to do with the life insurance policy is my husband. Whether he cares about it or not, that is a benefit to him. But a lot of men say that they don't care about those things. So, and since they don't care about those things and they don't plan on getting a woman or marrying a woman that has any of that because they don't care about those things, they feel like they don't get a benefit towards marriage. Because what people don't like to talk about with marriage, and the reason why it's so taboo, is they don't want to talk about the legal aspects of marriage, because a lot of men are freaking out that some woman is going to take him for everything he has, and a lot of women don't want to talk about it because they feel like some man is going to think that, or she's never going to be picked by a man because he thinks that she's going to take him for everything that he has. So if that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, and you guys don't care about the legal aspects of marriage, don't get legally married. Be a forever girlfriend. Have a spiritual marriage. You want the wedding ceremony? Have the wedding ceremony. You can have a commitment ceremony. The general public will not know the difference. You will still be married in the eyes of the general public. If that's what you want, if that's what you want people to know, that you got married, you got married. So you don't have to do those things. And that's what a lot of men are saying. They're saying, I want a woman, I want to commit, I want the loyalty, I want the relationship, the honesty, all of that. I just don't want to get legally married. And if you feel the same way and you don't care about the legal aspects of marriage, then just do that. Don't get legally married. Just have a commitment ceremony. Me personally, I care about the legalities of marriage because I have two children who are minors, right? So I want my husband every year we sit down and we have a discussion. We talk about the passwords to the bank accounts, what's in the bank accounts, what's in the Roth IRAs, what's in the retirements, what's in the life insurance, where all these papers are case an emergency happens. I don't know, an earthquake, a fire, we can grab it and we can go. So if something happens, we don't have to scour the house trying to figure out where all these papers are. We have those discussions because we understand that we have small children that need to be taken care of in the case that there's a tragedy that happens. It may never happen, or it may happen, but that's the discussion that is important to my husband and myself, and that is why we got legally married. But if those things don't matter to y'all in a marriage, and y'all just care about the, of course I married my husband because I love him, I want to commit to him, I want to honor him and all that kind of stuff, but I legally married him because of the legalities of marriage, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I've been asking people this, both men and women. I'll ask you as well. Do you think, like, within the near future, like I'm talking about within the next 5 to 10 years, do you think what they refer to as common law or even no law marriage, like, do you think that's going to become something that's very much more prevalent because of the concerns that men have pertaining to, their finances and the concerns that women have pertaining to whatever? Do you think that's something that's going to become way more prevalent, like here in the near future? Just not just just foregoing all the legalities, that you just mentioned, and just we're going to be spiritually connected together, and that's going to be it. So when you do wake
Um,
up and don't want to be with me
I
anymore, or
think
I wake up and
that
don't want to be with you anymore, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be protected.
I think what's going to happen is that you're going to see a lot of older people getting legally married and a lot of younger people not wanting to do that. You're see a lot less younger people getting married, and I think that that is absolutely fine. Um, I think that people should get married when they have, a good understanding of what they want in a marriage. But I will say this, if people start having more of a spiritual marriage, a common law marriage, well, I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. Stop looking at the single mother stats, because the single mother stats are just asking, are you married, and when you had your baby. It doesn't matter if you've been with that man for 10 years and you have 3 kids with him. If you are not legally married to him and you have a baby with him, you will go down the stat as a single mother. So, what's going to happen, especially in the African American community, if we do this common law marriage and this spiritual marriage and we decide not to, whatever, we decide not to get legally married, we're going to have a larger single mom stats that everybody wants to talk about. So I would just consider that. But as far as common law, like I feel like it's a good idea if that's what people want to do. You could still